Thank you for listening to 2013 and Beyond with Rashmi and Jeremy McDonald. If you'd like to know more about Rashmi, you can check her out at rashmikilnani.com or more about Jeremy at www.jeremymcdonald.net. And now for our show.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for watching 2013 and Beyond and watching Rashmi. Well, actually, you're not watching, you're listening to Rashmi and I on the 2013 Beyond show. Rashmi is in Kensington, London, and she just gave me a really good picture of the outside of London. It was very beautiful, and it's very beautiful here in Tampa, Florida, or actually in Largo, Florida. Rashmi, how are you doing today?
Really good, Jeremy. How are you, my dear boy?
I am doing wonderful. I was out this morning walking Max, and he was enjoying himself. It's just beautiful. It's not too hot out, and the weather is just really nice. So I have a really good day ahead of me of just relaxing after we're done with our show. So,
wonderful. So big hello and welcome to our audience of 2013 and Beyond. Sorry, guys, we've been having such big gaps between our last show. I think it was about 6 months ago. But Jeremy and I have been busy, and also, you know, it's just nice to do a show when there's something interesting to talk about, which there always is. But you know, to be able to integrate these energies, and I, for one, have been spending a lot of time on my own in nature and with my Ascension journey. So I've been going through really intense Ascension symptoms. I've had a rash on my face and on my hands, and a very dry body, and palpitations of the heart, and aches and pains. So, Jeremy, do you feel any of these Ascension symptoms?
Well, I was sick actually at the end of the year last year, and it went on for about 3 weeks. I mean, actually almost a month it went on, and I was coughing, and I ended up being in the Keys with my family and coughing. And I remember my stepmother was really worried about me, and she was like, "You need to go to the doctor." And I'm like, "Well, you know, I'll run energy through it. We'll see where we go from there." But yeah, and then emotionally, what I've been going through is, and Rashmi and I talked a little bit about this last week just on a conversation. I found that right now, Ascension symptoms are not just, you know, they're manifesting either physically or emotionally. We're not the only ones going through this. There's a lot of people going through this, and it's like pushing the energy of whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something for us to look at, or just letting go, or there's different reasons why we're going through these things. But I've had friends, especially this week, calling me up and said, "Jerry, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm just really moody right now, and there's no reason for it." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And there's energy that's really pushing on us right now. It's making us look in the mirror and say, "Hey, where's this coming from?" Making us, for me at least, it's making me practice what I preach, you know, and stuff like that. And I've had students like holding me accountable to the things that I've held them accountable for years, which is a good thing, I think. And it's a good thing when the student becomes the teacher, because that's what it should have been in the first place. We're all students and teachers at the same time. So I think with what's going on in America and around the world, it's definitely making us face a lot of things.
Yeah, the outside world is going gaga as usual, and this is only going to intensify, as I've been saying since 2011, 2012. But apparently the Ascension symptoms, you know, for pioneers like myself, where they've been so intense for so many years now, should start easing up, because, you know, I'm working for the collective as well, and morphogenically so much, in 3 continents physically and across the globe, morphogenically. These are supposed to be beginning to ease up in May, and then, you know, they will continue, but hopefully not as intense in the months to come. But we've just had the solstice, we've had the equinox. These are huge gateways, portals, and some of us are grid keepers and gatekeepers for the energies. I personally have been working out of London, Kensington for 24 years, holding the frequency of meditation, of looking within, of being the detached witness of relative reality from a space of absolute reality, which is the center, grounded beingness. And it's become more and more difficult the last few years to be an urban shaman out of DC, Washington, and New Delhi, India, Asia, and London mainly, Europe, England. It's not been easy because the collective is going through so much, and people like myself are really working on the collective energies, not just one's own individual energies, because I've come as a bodhisattva, and so from childhood I had a knowingness of heaven on earth energies as I grew up by the Great Pyramid of Giza in Cairo, Egypt, and then England, and then India, and then back in England and across the globe. So it's a very exciting time, and people need to really ground themselves right now. And so are you finding it easy to ground, Jeremy, as you're working in a normal corporate job every day, dealing with people that are, in 3D mundane reality? Are you finding that easy, or the same as usual, it's a focus?
I have to focus. If I don't, I forget. And then I start getting wrapped up in stuff. And so I have to spend a lot of times in my lunch hour just sitting in my car and, relaxing and grounding and stuff. Because, of course, sometimes the ego, when things are getting kind of tough, they want to jump out of the body and not be grounded. And, I don't want to be around here. And, that's not that's not what we're here for. We're here to be grounded in this reality and learn from it and experience it. So we're always the soul's always running around outside the body. That's not healthy either.
No, and it's about heaven on earth energy is bringing, is bringing the divine and the human together. And some teachers, are teaching that the human part is negative or not right or to be made obsolete. And these things, mystical things, are difficult to talk about because they're beyond words. However, it's true and it's not true, because high truth is paradoxical. So, but it's really about bringing the two together, the divinity into the divine, into the human that we are. And that is already so, except the imprinting and programming and 26,000 years of habit of competing and fighting, flighting, and so on have been so dominant that now the energies, through the solar winds, the geometric storms, the electromagnetic fields are being so affected. And what is this electromagnetic energy? We are electromagnetic. So our emotions are magnetic and our thoughts are electrical, and we are literally electromagnetic fields of energy, which is what I teach in something called Advanced Sound Wave Energy Therapy, Master Level 1 and 2, which is, it is inaudible sound like ultrasound, and it comes like laser-like energy through the fingertips into the aura of the recipient, and it works on the grid, the magnetic grid, because sound moves along the grid like a Rubik cube. And then the light body is everywhere, like air, because air, the element of air, is connected to that. And so, bringing these sacred elements that we're made of together and worshiping them within ourselves and outside of ourselves and grounding these energies means that, we don't have to make a big effort to become enlightened. We just have to start releasing, as Jeremy said earlier in the show, all that no longer serves us: thoughts, ideas, places, objects, things, concepts, relationships, countries, whatever it is, because we are unlimited being. And we feel that we're this jam jar of air, but actually when you shatter that jam jar, then skies upon skies is who you be. And it's scary, isn't it, Jeremy, to get into that unknown energy of being so expansive, I suppose, for most people. For me, it comes as second nature. But for most, it's extremely scary. I mean, how do you feel about constantly moving from unknown to unknown, which is what heaven on earth energy is all about?
Well, it's funny because I'm a big part of my life. I've done that most of my life. Jump from one thing to the next, taking leaps of faith. Yeah. And then, that's, if you were to say to me, you need to do this, and most of my 20s was spent, just saying, hey, I'm just going to pack my car up and move here. So now I've just in the past 4 or 5 years, I've experienced a different energy in a sense that, and you know this, and most people that listen to my shows and stuff have known this, that when my mother died, I went into a different state that, this is it. I don't have anybody else, other than God. And so now it's been truly, if I do those leaps of faith, I have to know where I'm going. And so that's been a lesson, because, I've been having to take some leaps of faith and not know my mother's there, if that makes any sense. And so before it was easier, because I was able to do that and to go, if I screw up, I can always just call mom, and that's a different.
And the thing is, both of us have neither our father or mother. I mean, like, your father's an absent father, and my father passed away when I was 29. He was killed by our servant, and my mother passed away, as you know, a few years ago. But we can always speak to them, and we do. But my mother's now become my fairy godma, because I gave up all my human blueprints in December, and I reconnected to my divine blueprint, which makes me 99% transpersonal, and yet I'm very human as well, because I'm a bridge between 3D and multidimensional being. And as a pioneer, there, it's very lonely, because sometimes there's nobody else to talk to. And so when I touched hands with the Dalai Lama in India, that was just so amazing, because not that I'm some devotee of the Dalai Lama, but I really feel he carries a similar frequency, but he's got a different job, and yet it's the same. And across so many people, even though he wasn't touching anybody, or, it was just a long talk he was giving to celebrate some Tibetan thing in my hotel, he reached out for me, and then he was presented the Buddha book through his secretary. My book, second book, Buddha Speaks to the Buddha Nature Within. And just that energetic was just so powerful. And, like when I was with Leonard in America, working as his healer and traveling all over the world with him, that was nice, because at least there was somebody who loved Babaji in a similar way to me, in a way. And but it can be lonely, when you're pioneering these energies, as you are, Jeremy, in Florida, where you're, in a very normal 9-to-5 situation at work, and yet, you're carrying other frequency and working on yourself all the time, pretty much all the time, I would say. What would you say?
Yeah, that's pretty much my life.
Yeah, the divine is your ultimate focus and service. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you're lucky you got a doggy, and my doggy just passed away in Delhi. And as you know, there's a court case with my brother and sister, and that's ongoing. And my money situation, I've just been told by Metatron that he's my new guardian angel, besides my mom is my fairy godmother now. And that Metatron would actually be happy to do a little energy work on all of us in the show, if everybody's up to it, in a few minutes. But he, I think he wants to do that. What would you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. So he's asking you, Jeremy, to you wanted to work on the heart energy, and most humans have wounded heart energy from eons of the 26,000 years of the patriarchal energies, which are not male or female, but they are the energies of conquest, and that patriarchal might is right, and so on. And so now we are coming into the opening and the reflowering of the cosmic heart energies, the feminine, the receptive, which again is not a gender thing. It's an energy of allowing, being, creating, being happy with the nothingness energy from which everything comes from. So what is your request for yourself and the listeners and humanity now for the heart? What is that in simple way?
Well, I really feel that the heart and even the solar plexus, it's time for us, I'm asking for healing of those, so we can open up to others and allow them in and trust. And maybe some healing of the trust, because we've got a lot of trust issues going on in the world. And, I'm just seeing mine, some that I've had, and it's time for us to take a look at those and let go of the past that hurt us. And I've not ran across a person on this planet that doesn't have hurt. you know, and
Exactly. We all have carried these wounds, and now I'm feeling this heart little pain in your heart and my heart now again. So we're bringing in Metatron, and yes, this is really powerful. What Jeremy has said about trust, and so you know, because for 26,000 years, that is in our genetics. It's in our DNA. That pain, that wound. And this is the time of Chiron, which is being the wounded healer. So literally, we've all chosen these wounds through lifetimes in order to heal them, like the snakes and ladders game, where we now get to reverse all the negative imprinting, which is not easy because trust comes up layer after layer after layer. And I've done so many layers, but still there's another subtler and subtler layer to deal with. And for example, now they want me to go to the edge with the money and continue to live in a really nice hotel because it's the Urban Cave and it's very close to the Kensington Palace, you know, in London and close to the city and the banking and so many things, you know, that are being worked on morphogenically. And as London represents the center of this globe. So that's a huge trust issue for me as well, because I've jumped and sold everything I have to do this mission for 8 years in hotels, and before that living homes and many things. But you know, when you reach your last bit of money and you think, well, okay, they've told me now I hold the frequencies of the goddess Lakshmi energies for the planet, but that doesn't mean I got huge amounts of money in the bank. It's that trust energy of a different dimension where money doesn't even exist. A lot of instant manifestation exists. And even for me, that's a little challenge that, you know, the last few months, and then I got to keep spending so much money when I could be maybe, you know, staying somewhere cheaper or doing something else or getting a job. I don't know. And but it feels right, and that's what's happening. So Metatron's here for all our listeners that are willing to take part in this transmission now. And it's for the heart, and as Jeremy says, for the solar plexus as well. So everybody just ground yourself to the floor in some way, either by seating yourself on the floor, lying down on the floor, or having your feet on the floor, and then just connecting your root chakra to the very central center of Mother Gaia. Let's take a deep breath in. So let's just chant together, Jeremy. We connect the Om from the heart to the root, through the solar plexus, down to the heart of Mother Gaia, feeling that love and support of Mother Gaia and the grounding. Breathe in deep. And then feel the love and support of the Divine Mother, the Gaia, Mother Gaia, from the crystal iron core of Mother Earth, her heart to our heart, through our roots, through our solar plexus, connecting to the heart, and then up through the chakras to the galactic center of source. So we're just feeling this support of the Mother in our hearts, heart to heart, grounding. And then connecting our cosmic hearts, our human divine cosmic heart, to the cosmic heart of the galactic center of source, the cosmic energies, the divine father energies, through the crown chakra, the soul star chakra, a few 12 inches above your crown. I can barely speak. The energy of Metatron is huge. I don't know if all of you can feel it. It's expansive. It's expanding the electromagnetic field within free will, so that the auras are expanding out. If you're driving, please don't be participating in this right now. You can do it later in the archives. And then feel this expansion. Feel your forehead expanding into infinity. Feel your third eye opening. And then bringing in these energies from Divine Father's heart, cosmic heart, to human divine heart. And then feeling the two energies connect in the heart. So now we're going to breathe in heaven and earth, and on an out breath, open the 1,000-petal lotus of the heart. No pushing and pulling, just allowing. Take a deep breath in. And then placing a palm gently on the solar plexus and another palm on the heart. Feeling the connection between the solar plexus and the heart, which in Egyptian mystery school is called a rod of power. And feeling that light and connection through the pranic tube to the very center of earth and up to the sky. Now these energies are pouring into prana, reiki, chi, life force energy at all times. However, when you do this sort of exercise, and you can replay this whenever you like, you reconnect more strongly. And you have an even stronger energy of this heaven and earth energies within you as you walking, sleeping, sitting, eating. And then at the same time, feel this expansion now and see how far your heart wishes to open its 1,000-petal lotus, no pushing and pulling. And feel the energy of forgiveness. Forgiveness of self for not being perfect or any other judgments, whatever it is. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. Atonement, atonement, atonement. Feeling the unconditional energies of love of the heart, multidimensional heart. Mayurma, Mayurma, Mayurma. Feeling the opening of the solar plexus connecting to the sun. And feeling this lovely yellow ball of golden light now, connecting with the green, beautiful ball of light of the heart. And balancing, connecting and grounding, connecting and expanding through the crown up. Metatron, Metatron, Metatron is the archangel that's here to oversee the ascension of all beings on earth within free will and the highest good. This means coming into my multidimensional moment-to-moment beingness. This means opening up the DNA from 2 to 12, which happens through allowing, being, relaxing, and trusting. So now receiving this energy of trust, just receiving it. It's already within you, but just receiving it from Archangel Metatron as a golden chalice. And drinking of this chalice, this golden light. And as you drink it, feel this golden light of trust and love, trusting and relaxing, going into the DNA, going into every cell, going into the organs, going into the bones, the teeth, into the aura, into all the chakras to become one golden light as you walk, sit down, talk, sleep, eat, dream on planet Earth. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The energy of trust is the energy of peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The energy of trust is the energy of relaxing. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The energy of trust is the energy of knowing. Allow your encodings to refire to that which you already know to become. So be it, so be it, so be it. And ground this energy now to the center of the earth and feel the expansion and feel the release of all that no longer serves you, releasing out and giving it to Archangel Metatron for transmutation. It just happens. All right, we're back to Earth now. What was that? Thank you, Archangel Metatron.
That was my phone that I thought was on vibrate or silent.
Oh, yeah. Did you feel that?
Oh my god, it was powerful.
So just take a moment to just stamp your feet or chakra, 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 everybody. And just to get Jeremy back into his body nicely now, because it was okay if we popped out or did whatever happened. It doesn't matter. And then later everybody can journal if they like, and they can come back to this exercise many times in safe spaces and expand this energy and invoke Archangel Metatron 3 times and ask him with love, him, her, she. It is a force field of energy. It is not a person, and it is golden, and it can change colors, and he is extremely amazing. And I'm very, very honored to have him as my guardian angel now. And Babaji's taken a little bit of a back seat, even though Babaji is very there. And all the Ascended Masters and the Archangelics are here for everybody. And we are that energy. So they are not separate from us. They are within us. And by invoking these energies, we are just invoking, like sometimes we sing, sometimes we dance, sometimes we eat, sometimes we sleep, sometimes we're angry, and sometimes we're happy. In the same way, these are archetypal energies within us that we can invoke 3 times and amplify. And why not amplify the energy of joy, which comes through invoking Bast, for example, the joy goddess, play goddess, cat goddess of ancient Egypt. Earth to ground, earth, earth, earth. Lakshmi, Lakshmi, Lakshmi for wealth, and earth, earth, earth as well for flow and wealth. Wealth of time, wealth of energy, wealth of health, wealth of well-being. And you know, the current new energies of new earth are well-being, allowing, trusting, relaxing, letting things come to us by allowing and being receptive. And to be receptive, we have to empty to receive. So what are we emptying? Programming, as we said earlier, thoughts, things, ideas, beliefs, etc. And best place to do that, be that, is in nature, or through music, or through dance, or through art, or through helping another, or through service, selfless service, not where we're expecting something in return. So, Jeremy, your feedback on whatever you might have experienced, or anything else you wish to share?
Well, it was a clearing of emotions. Well, that's a bad word choice. A balancing of emotions. I think one of the things I want to say to everybody is that your emotions are necessary. We try to avoid the negative ones, or what we consider to be negative ones. But what is it really? When you really ask the question, what is negative? Your emotions of depression are there. They're a gauge. They tell you what's going on inside of yourself, or your unhappiness, or joy, or beauty, or love. And so I felt like a balancing happening between all of that, between the yin and the yang, so to speak.
And were you able to do some self-forgiveness, or
yeah,
was that a surprise?
Yeah, no, because I knew I had some stuff going on in there that I needed to look at. So,
because sometimes you're doing a lot of work on yourself, but sometimes people are like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know. I just thought I was judging others, but really, this is going to me first, and I'm judging myself, and I'm not forgiving myself. Therefore, that's where we begin. Otherwise, how can we stop judging and forgiving others? And that's not something we can force either, is it?
No, it's not. Definitely not. So, and then for Metatron, I'm going to put with our pictures and books, I'm going to put that painting of Metatron in there.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. When I gave you that little healing last time, you sent me those beautiful. I actually made them my cover picture on Facebook, and everybody loved it. Jeremy sent me Metatron and Archangel Michael, who I work with. And Archangel Michael is a great being to bring in for protection, so that you can take trust in baby steps. And my book, The Divine Mother Speaks, The Healing of the Human Heart, is all about what Jeremy just talked about, which is healing is feeling, and feeling is our richness, and even our anger feelings are important. And our anger is our fire, and it's usually when it's not allowed to be creative. And it doesn't really matter what it's due to. But as long as we find safe ways that don't hurt ourselves and others to release the anger, there's a lot about that in The Divine Mother Speaks, which is a healing handbook for healers, teachers, and anybody on the path. It's energy made simple. It's Reiki energy mastery made simple, and it's Egyptian or any mystery school teachings, wisdom teachings made simple. So the forgiveness piece is just so important now. And then I think the release becomes easier. Don't you feel that's sort of connected? Because it's hard for us sometimes to release stuff, isn't it? I think we've become so habituated into the comfy slippers of, I'd rather be with the known, and the known can keep giving me pain. And my pattern is that, for example, a lot of people, particularly in the West, but also in the East, have had dysfunctional parents, and then, we repeat those patterns till we start pulling them out. So do you feel the forgiveness and the release of those patterns, not to repeat things, difficult and connected somehow?
Well, I've been practicing the Ho'oponopono prayer for like a lot of years, so like it's so that's been my go-to when I'm in that mode. And even when I'm needing to forgive other people, I automatically go into Ho'oponopono, because I realize if I'm wanting to forgive other people, I'm also probably wanting to forgive myself. It's a two-way street. So when I do that prayer, I feel the energy just releasing and the attachments unraveling. And it's like you can feel that in your heart and your body and stuff like that, because that's all about attachment. Forgiveness is about letting go. So it's so yeah, I've been doing that for a while, but it's like I'm finding in the world people are having to face forgiveness, and including myself. So I've been having to do that prayer quite a bit lately. And I've been noticing that, there's been people that have been pointing a lot of fingers and judgment, and I've had to say, the mirror is there. I mean, if you are looking at somebody, the world is a house of mirrors. So everything you're looking at in yourself. So now I will look at the other person, and I'll say that I'm upset with them. Like, well, what is the reason why they're doing that? And then as I'm asking that question, what am I doing? I'm reflecting back to myself. Well, why would I do that? And it's because, the root emotion I found in most people is fear, and manifests differently for every person based on what they've gone through as far as home life and parents and jobs and, that kind of stuff. And I just did a video on this the other day on the control dramas, and I did another one. And in there, I talked about everybody. I consider everybody a narcissist, a little bit of a narcissist, and a little bit of a codependent. And when we can recognize that in ourselves, we can recognize that, all these things that we want to judge another person about, we have a little bit of that in ourselves, and we don't want to see that. We want to point it out on somebody else. And once you really think hard about that, as you point a finger, it's basically like a
projection is one of the big pet things of the mind.
Yeah.
And so, the trick, the simple way to come into awareness, to consciousness, into whatever word you want to use for it, you understand, is for people to come, to begin to recognize, is this my mind energy right now? Or is this my heart energy? And by heart, we don't mean the soppy emotional heart, though that's also lovely, as we've just said. But we mean, the gentle knowingness, the gentle, you just get a feeling in your gut or in your heart that this feels okay. This feels like this is coming from all of me, or my body, or my heart, or my soul, or my knowingness. But if it's from the mind, then we need to look at that. And before we look at the other person's energy. Now, the mirror thing is really true, but it's not always true. Because it depends on who you're looking at. And if you've cleared that within yourself, then it could actually be their issue. And you might be pointing it out in a gentle way, which then wouldn't be judgment, it would be discernment. However, first look at yourself, as Jeremy said, and then see, is that my heart or my mind, my soul or my knowingness? And you'll just know with a little bit of practice, teeny bit of discipline and practice, you'll get there. You'll begin to get that. And then if it's not you, then you can look at the other person. But if it is you, then as Jeremy said, this projection piece is what's really causing all the mayhem, and there's no stepping into new earth with those energies. And so, we have to really watch out for projection. And the mind is always going to project. Always, always. It's always going to make something right and something wrong. It's going to change. Be very changeable. Whereas the heart is always all-inclusive. It may not agree, but it will still not make something wrong and bad. It may be discerning, but it is not judging, which are two very different energies that are again explained in the Divine Mother Speaks, the healing of the human heart, very clearly. What is the difference? And so, Jeremy, how do you feel about the new Earth? I mean, what do you feel new Earth is? Have you been looking at this? Because a lot of us are now bringing in this new Earth energy. We're talking about it. And,
well, what I've been seeing is that a planet based on practicing, and meaning that we're, because I think there's a misunderstanding now or previously of what love is. And so love isn't about just all hugs and kisses. It's about understanding other people. It's about understanding yourself, and also about not being afraid to practice and make mistakes. So the new Earth doesn't mean that we're going to walk in and everything is going to be perfect utopia. What it means is that we're going to step into this world and we're going to look at somebody, and we're going to, as somebody is going to be what we would call in the old world a mistake. It's not really a mistake. They're just growing, and we're going to see that in them, and we're going to be there to encourage them. And I see that the levels of the ego are going to raise. People are going to start seeing things from a higher perspective, and start saying, hey, it's not just me in this world. It's a group of us. It's a collective. We're working together. We're one unit. We're separate in a sense as far as the physicality, but on a greater level, we're connected, and we're here as a partnership, as a union, as one planet to ascend as a planet, so to speak. And it's not just me working over here as a United States citizen, or this person working over here as a Muslim, and us. We may have our labels, but we're not going to see our labels as boxes anymore. We're going to see them as a flow of union, like different colors within a color wheel, or in a kaleidoscope, so to speak, because they're all flowing together. And I think that's what we're working towards. And I think right now the shedding away of all the things that block us, so to speak, instead of opening up and communicating and talking and having to face all those things that made us feel inadequate at times in our life. We're having to face that, because that's the forgiveness and letting go, and that's the Metatron meditation that you just took us through, so that we can finally look at that and let go.
I would take it back one step here. This is really powerful what you're sharing, and say that the beginning of everything you've just said begins with ourselves. And so, particularly in the West, but also in the East, the psyche is very mind-oriented, 26,000 years of mind orientation. And in Christianity, etc., there was not that much meditation in the past, so kind of in the genetics. Doesn't matter what it was what it was. Doesn't mean there was never any meditation in Christianity, don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the thing is that in the East, there's a lot more practice of, ceremonies and chanting and so many things. But anyway, that's the whole show in itself. But what I'm trying to say now is that self-love is a key. And that people, in the West, in the East, wherever it is, when we're in the mind, we immediately go to the other. So I've been teaching students for 15 years. They were advanced shamans when I met them, so-called, quote-unquote. They'd studied all kinds of things, and they were, spiritual leaders and healers, and even, the big ones in America that I've worked on. I mean, I'm just amazed with their self-love piece. And this is not a judgment. And the thing is that it has taken me in this lifetime, even though I was born with high frequency, to unlearn not loving myself and relearn to love myself, which was always in me big time, but it was knocked out as much as it could be by parents, teachers, ministers, etc. Correct? So the thing is, whenever I'm asking a student anything, they go to the other. And the whole point is to start with yourself, which is what I said at the beginning of this, is, how is this energy coming from me, and what is that energy? Is it my mind? Is it my heart? Is it my solar plexus? Is it my physical body? Is it my gut? And once you begin to look at that, you will very quickly get the answers on that. And if you don't know, stay with not knowing, because not knowing is a very powerful place now. Confusion is also a powerful place. As long as you don't stick in any place for too long, unless it's bliss and joy, then why not? Let's say why not. So the self-love piece, is like, am I forgiving myself, not the other? Start with yourself. Am I loving myself? And then going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into what I'm still working on that. I'm probably one of the few people on this planet, I feel, that really, really, really loves myself. But there's always another layer, because it's a spiral. It's never a straight line like the mind thinks it is. And so once we begin to do that, only then can we love the other. Otherwise, as you say, it's codependent narcissism. And really, when we say, I love someone, what does it mean? As Jim was saying yesterday, and something I was listening to with his wife in the conversations in the morning or something they do, very sweet, is that, you love how you feel when you're with that other person. And the truth is, if you feel good within yourself and you feel whole and complete, then two whole and complete people come together to create something, not out of need, not out of want, but out of choice, as little masters and mistresses and divine beings waking up. And that's when it's really exciting. And I don't know, as I was saying to you, Jeremy, earlier, last week when we were chatting, that I know many couples on the planet that are the New Age soul couples. There are many. And I'm talking about the New Earth energies, that there really aren't many that come to mind.
Right.
So that's okay, because we are taking baby steps. Even the bodhisattvas, like myself, that have been enlightened in past lives, etc., and have only come to serve in this time-space continuum on planet Earth now. These are baby steps, because this is the first time ascension is happening in the body on Earth. It's not about zipping up anywhere. This whole New Age space cadet stuff needs to stop, which is where dancing, singing, painting, nature come in. And so how do you feel about that? Because we have to bring the new baby steps in and the self-love is the key.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the New Age in a sense, the way that some people are seeing it is I think that a lot of people that call themselves New Agers, first of all, I always say this, the things that we're talking about are not really New Age. They've been around for a long, long time. But, and with that being said, I think right now there's a lot of people that are I agree with the space cadet, because they're not grounded. They don't have, I see a lot of non-discernment happening. And that's not necessarily a judgment, because I've been there myself. At times I'm there still. So what happens is that, we'll look at something and we don't ponder it and pull that in and ground it to take a look at it. We tend to look at things.
When you're in your body, you're always grounded. And how do you know you're in your body? Simple way to be in your body. There's several, but what is one really simple way to very quickly? And if you don't do this particular thing, you can't even live.
Well, I know I'm grounded because I start seeing more things happening around me.
You got to breathe.
Yeah, of course.
When you breathe consciously and deeply, immediately you come out of the mind into the body. And when you're in the mind, you're never grounded. So that's why 99.9% new age, old age, fat age, thin age, whatever age, the new earth, whatever. New earth is a grounded energy. So Jesus ascended and then zipped off, after he went to India, really. But whatever it was not, that was the closest we know in current time of this Christed energy being grounded on earth. But it was different. This time we're not, we don't need to go on the cross. The cross for each one now is to let go of the past. And as the Hopi say, come to the center of the river, let go of clinging to the familiar, come to the center, and go with the flow into the unknown, moment to moment. Because with every out-breath, you die, and with every in-breath, you are reborn. And so that's what the Buddhists mean by when they say, die before you die. My book, Buddha Speaks to the Buddha Nature Within, the second book. Or like Jeremy's book, Peace Be Still. How do you come to peace? You come to peace when you come out of the mind. When you come out of the mind, and that includes observing the mind, because the thoughts flapping are going to continue. Many of those thoughts aren't even yours. They don't belong to anybody. They're just there in the morphogenic soup of the astral plane and whatnot. Let's not get into those technicalities. Because as soon as people want too much complicated jargon around spirituality, then self-love is out the window, spiritual ego comes in, So I can say I'm this, that, and the other. I can talk about being a bodhisattva and whatnot, but actually I'm not really out there. I'm not, I'm nothing. It all comes from being nothing. And you can only be nothing when you're grounded in a way. And when you're in your breath, because, and so the breath is the peace, and then, again, there are other ways of grounding, and everybody knows what they are. Connect to trees, connect to the energy of a tree, become a tree, and do the exercises we did earlier, which were not exercises, it was deep initiation by Archangel Metatron. Thank you so much. And so, are you finding it challenging, the self-love piece?
If you would have asked me that 2 months ago or 4 months ago, I would have said no. But in the past few months, a month or two, it's been a new thing, and that's okay, because what I'm finding is that you're going to hit levels, and so there you'll think you're doing really well, and then there's going to be something that's going to hit you, and it's going to challenge that self-love, and that's called growth, and it's okay to have growth.
And it's beautiful, isn't it? Because it's a spiral. It's Jesus. Metatron, all the great beings, they're on their own spiral as well. And people go, what is the 12th dimension and what is the 11th? This is really missing the boat. Getting too much into what Trump is doing is missing the boat. Saying there's so much crap out in the world is missing the boat. Now what is important is, are you in your body? Are you happy to be in a body? Are you happy to be part of this grand plan, which is happening whether you're a believer, a non-believer, or anything in between? All the so-called 3D people are going through HELL as well. And what is that hell? That is what is a good word? Not demolition. I don't want to use such a big word. The complete transformation and collapse of 3D realities. And so all past realities are collapsing. So why cling on to toys that don't serve you anymore? You've grown up now. It's time to wake up. It's time to be your divine master self. In the new earth energy, manifestation is instant. In the new earth energy, you don't need tons of money in the bank. You might have tons of money, and then you will use it for service of self and others. And if you don't have any, you will just manifest it like Saint Germain did many times over on this planet as an ascended master, and even before. And he was not ashamed to have a lot of wealth. So, once we all start sharing from our hearts, but none of that can happen if we don't love ourselves, if we don't want to be in the body here now, if we don't want to let go of the past. The past is finished. The last breath is over. It's the next breath. And so, do you find the unknown really scary, as in vis-a-vis love and emotion, for example? As we take these baby steps into trust, that is a bit scary. I mean, even I would say that is a bit scary, right?
I would say there's anxiety around it. Yes,
that's true. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, if somebody suddenly showed up, this great, ascended master being, and said, "Okay, Rashmi, let's go for sacred soul union, companionship now, and service," I would go. I'd be excited. I'd probably jump for joy, but at the same time, as I took those baby steps into the intimacy and all that would involve, because for so long, many of us have taken a back seat. As Jeremy, you and I have not been in. I've been in relationships. But not in that full-blown, deep way since I left my studio temple of teaching Reiki Masters and Enoch. And then since then, there have been many partners have come and gone for periods based on service and not always to do with the whole physical act or anything like that. But, both of us have been, and many, many people on the planet have, even in so-called 3D reality, that, this is this whole, this is spiritual and that is not, that just doesn't work.
Right.
This doesn't work. So the new earth energy is instant manifestation, but it can only come from being grounded, as we've said. It can only come from self-love, which is extremely important, and not knowing all that jargon out there, about dimensions and and chakras and 100 chakras and boasting about, I've got those spiritual siddhi powers, and which powers do you have and don't have. I remember when Leonard said to me, which siddhis do you have, Rashmi? And I said, look, as soon as you say that, Leonard, your siddhis, which is spiritual, natural, supernatural path, will be taken away from you, because that, we don't need to get into. I might just say as sharing because it's relevant that, I can help in the facilitation of somebody's healing, but actually they're healing themselves, or, when Jesus walked the water, he didn't show off about that.
Right.
So, all the powers will come when you're grounded, when you're in the moment, when you're ready to go moment to moment. And when you face your fear, fear will come up, thoughts will come up, the mind will keep going. Let it. It's not who you be. Limitation will come up. Who am I to shine bright? Who am I to say I'm a bodhisattva? Who am I to serve? All these things will come up because that's 26,000 years of programming.
Yeah.
Let it. But then can you keep facing fear after fear after fear? And I don't mean, Jay walking on a, road in the middle of LA or something and killing himself in a traffic jam. Not that kind of nonsense. Or, hugging a tiger when it's not feeling highly holy guided to do so. Forget that. But, and humor, humor is a part of it. And the whole thing happens through play. And I'm finding that quite challenging, Jeremy, to be able to play right now, because, everywhere I go, people are, grumpy and sad. And so, it's in the morphogenic resonance so much. And I was doing this thing called biodanza that I loved and I got to play. But then, it always comes to but then and the politics and the tribal, and then this against that. And being a groupie, which I can't stand. I don't want to be a groupie with anyone or anything, except spontaneously, moment to moment, with love and joy, which is what kids are like, And so I'm finding that slightly challenging. But, I think it's more an energy within then, isn't it? It's like wherever I go, just the ordinary people, I just love them. The taxi drivers, the people in my hotel, the people I just go to the shops to every day, my little villages in Kensington and Earl's Court, where, you just smile and you share a joke, or you just have that energy of joy that we're alive and we're on earth. And it's all so simple.
Yeah,
do you get
absolutely.
a chance to play more?
Oh yeah. Well, I do. Even when I'm busy, I take time to play. I actually did that last night. I posted a picture of me eating pizza and having a drink.
Oh yeah, I was like, I want a slice of that pizza. I've never had pizza, but I really wish I was there.
It was really relaxing.
More when you share it, don't you?
And you'd have to share it because something because we do this, everybody thinks we're really serious, and I'm like, I'm not. I mean, I laugh a lot and have a really good time.
Yeah.
Well, we're at over an hour.
I thought so. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but the energy was fun.
We've covered a lot of things. We've covered self-love and New Earth, and we've done a wonderful session. So we'll probably do some more of these, won't we, Jeremy? And next time, you said you want to have a visual, so.
Well, just so people don't know, I'm going to be actually starting to do live streaming on Facebook and YouTube, so that'll be coming up soon as I get comfortable with the software. So, we'll be putting that up soon.
So this will go on YouTube, and
that's on YouTube. Yep.
Will it go on Facebook today? No.
Well, I've got to get it rendered and edited, but today or tomorrow, latest Monday.
Fantastic, and let's do another show without too much of a gap.
Okay.
Many blessings to our listeners, and much love. And do check out the film I God, the books on Amazon.com, Jeremy's book also on Amazon.com, and our previous archived radio shows, connect to the energies, the timeless energies, wisdom energies on 2013andbeyond.org. What else?
2013andbeyond.org. I'll be there. There's a lot of information about us, and you can also go to Rashmi's website at rashmikilnani.com. Am I correct?
And Jeremy's website. Yeah, and Reiki-energy-mastery.com. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, but mainly Facebook, I would say. I'm sharing a lot on Ascension, on New Earth, on energy, on sending energy for everybody, and with Jeremy on Facebook and Soul Talk Radio. And what else, Jeremy?
That's pretty much, well, my website, www.jeremymcdonald.net.
That's yeah.
But anyways, everybody have many blessings, and love you all. And,
thank you, Jeremy. Namaste.
Namaste.